Welcome to RSL Travel and Food Blog. Today we'll be cooking a very special but very easy to prepare dish. In our local dialect, we call it tinulang isda, or in English, it's known as fish soup Filipino style. So our ingredients are the following: about 1 kilogram of fish cut into its desired sizes. This one. And we have our spices. We have 2 pieces onions chopped, 1 large tomatoes chopped, spring onions cut into desired length. We have ginger sliced, and we have some red chilli, which we will be adding shortly. And we have salt to taste, and then some seasoning and some very nutritious malunggay leaves. Now, as you can see, I allowed the water to boil first, about 5 glasses of drinking water. I allowed it to boil first so that I can pour in the spices first. The reason is I want to make sure that the spices are half cooked first before I'm gonna add the fish, to make sure that I do not overcook the fish. Again, I'll say it is important that when we cook soup, we must be very sure, especially when we cook fish, that we won't overcook the fish. So, as you have seen, I already have allowed the water to boil, and then I already poured in the spices. And then let's cover it with a lid and allow it to boil for a couple of minutes. After a couple of minutes, we're about ready. We can now pour in the next ingredient. That would be the fish. So, the fish, as I said, was cut into its desired sizes. It's the same fish that I bought at the wet market together with my son. It's very fresh and it's very, very delicious after we cook it. You can arrange the fish all you want so that uh, you can distribute the heat. The heat can be distributed all over different parts of the fish. So you can arrange it. Then allow it to boil for another couple of minutes. Here you'll be adding also the spring onions. So the reason so that the flavor of the spring onions together with all its spices will be absorbed by the fish. Then we can add some salt to taste. There you go, some salt. But you have to be very careful so that you won't make the soup very salty. So you just have to add salt little by little so you won't have a very salty soup. The next, you can pour in the magic syrup seasoning. I'm gonna empty this very small magic syrup into the soup and cover it again with the lid and allow it to boil for about 6 to 8 minutes or 6 to 10 minutes so that the fish will cook. Then after you allow it to boil, you're gonna add for about a couple of minutes, 6 to 8 or 6 to 10. As you can see now, it's been boiling for about 10 minutes. So for sure, the fish is already cooked. Now please take note, you do not allow it to boil more than 10 minutes because you might overcook the fish. It's very important that you must not overcook the fish. And then you're gonna cover it again for just a couple of minutes. I think 2 minutes will do. And then once it's boiling, And for sure, the fish is already cooked. And as you already know, I already poured in some salt to taste and some seasoning. So the next ingredient that will be coming in would be the very healthy malunggay leaves. So we'll now be adding the malunggay leaves in a while. So I'm tasting it right now, trying to find out whether it's salty or not. Then I think I'll add more salt because, like I mentioned earlier, salt is to taste only. That's why little by little I'm adding salt so that I get the exact taste that I want. Now, as it continues to boil, I'm now adding the malunggay leaves. It's very nutritious. Usually, when we cook soup, especially chicken or fish, we really use malunggay leaves because it's very nutritious, and we love our soup when we add our malunggay leaves because we know that the dish will become even more delicious as it is nutritious. There, let's cover again and just for a couple of minutes, 3 minutes to 4 minutes, and there it's boiling already. That's already cooked. It's ready to serve. Just mix it a little. Try to mix those of the leaves which are on top so that heat can be evenly distributed. But this dish is already good to go. As you can see, the fish is not overcooked. It's done perfectly. So there you go. We have one very, very delicious and nutritious fish soup, Filipino style. My version, of course, because there are so many versions. Others, they could add any ingredient they want. Sometimes I even add lemongrass because lemongrass is one of my favorite. Unfortunately, I was not able to find some lemongrass in the backyard, so I'm not adding lemongrass now. But usually, I really do add lemongrass because I love soup. I love to put lemongrass in fish soup and chicken soup. So this is it. We have one very delicious tinulang isda.